today it's been a really great opportunity to talk about some of the opportunities that there may be for interior designers and people who supply the retail industry with the opportunities around empty retail units, in particular how they can move beyond pop-up and doing things on an ad hoc basis where it's sort of PR driven, and start looking at how they can come up with new models of both fitting out retail units and encouraging brands, startups and also product manufacturers to go direct to their customer market.
Unlike a shop, the sort of traditional retail model is very much you open the doors, people come in, they look at stuff, they buy stuff, they go out. We're trying to encourage brands to start seeing the BrandHub as more of a proposition where they can do other things and perhaps create a schedule. And this certainly lends itself, even though you may be only doing a temporary installation within a unit, it's really important to understand that there may be other uses that will be put in the unit during the course of your time there. And this is just a very rough sort of timetable come schedule that we sometimes put forward to brands to think a bit laterally about what they might want to do in the spaces. But obviously, doing things like product demo and training, you may need a very different environment than you will do on your press day. You may not, but to have furniture, installations, crucially technology that can be adapted very easily, not particularly complicated, potentially space-saving equipment and installations and furniture as well, because you may be trying to do a lot in quite a small space, but as everyone has probably seen on George Clark's Amazing Space, it's amazing what you can get into a very small unit.
One of the other areas we wanted to touch on was the idea that actually you get an awful lot of customers buying online now, and actually the modern retail environment isn't necessarily conducive to supporting that decision-making process, particularly those brands that perhaps don't necessarily retail to high street, i.e. through third parties, or where actually they are very successful online and actually they want to get their physical brand in front of customers.
And actually, as we've seen recently with Ocado, they don't want to be physical retailer. They are an online service, but they found a good way of manipulating that by actually, and you wouldn't have thought people would do it, but as you'll see here, they would literally just put the products on the shop windows and people would scan them and that would order onto an online basket, and those products would be delivered to either their workplace or their home. Now obviously that's on a very small scale, but if you're a small designer and you've only got a few products, you can just create vinyls and get people to scan using QR codes or whatever off the windows, and that's a much easier, lower cost entry point, and certainly looks a lot better. It's a lot more interesting than a vacant unit.
So actually it's a way of addressing that issue but still giving people the chance to interact, because if it went all online it would be a terribly dull world as well, because it's creating that three-dimensional interaction with the product or service that people want. It's just that they're not necessarily prepared to pay for it in the store by buying the product there.